Hi, folks. Very excited to be here today. Like a good nerd, I brought my laptop. So hold on just a second. All right. So, I was thinking about this talk, and I went back and forth on what to focus on. And, this question kept coming back to me of, what does the world need? We've got this incredible, talented group of people here going on this next chapter of their lives, and what should they work on? What should you guys go do tomorrow and next week? And, that question is not obvious. You got to, take some deep thinking around sort of what to do. And so if you'll indulge me, I'm going to do a 5 W's, the who, what, where, when, why, and how, of what one person thinks could be a great use of your time. But, why should you listen to me? I'm just one guy. As Sabrina mentioned, I had a pretty wild childhood. But one of the things that my dad was very serious with us about was we had to work super hard. And when I was 13, I wanted to go and do something. I wanted to buy something. He's like, you don't have enough money for that. And he was very clear that from then on, there was his money and there was my money. And if everything that I was going to do in my life, I had to do on my own. And so as a result, I just tried lots of different stuff and threw a bunch of things against the wall. I worked as a sushi chef and bagged groceries and worked in enterprise resource management and auto salvage and all sorts of weird stuff. And was really trying to figure out, what's the meaning of life? Why am I here? What should I be working on? What is the right thing to do? And it took me a really long time to figure that out. And I would say that now that I have a reasonable amount of gray hair, I did finally kind of figure it out. As you can tell, I'm a nerd. The laptop didn't convey that. But I do literally run a circus, and I met my co-founder, who's an engineer, and we both were really frustrated in 2008 with what we were working on. The economy was collapsing. My co-founder was building robots for the military. I was at a failing startup, and we were like, man, life sucks. And we started to just do what we loved, which was play around with technology. And so we started to make interactive art that we would take to parties and events. And people liked it, so we kept making more stuff. And the parties got bigger, and the stuff that we made got bigger. And all of a sudden, a brand came to us and said, hey, we'll pay you guys to do that. Would you come and do one of our parties? And we were like, what? There's a business model here? That's so weird. That turned into a real company, and we hired a bunch of people and now have this big band of nerds in downtown LA, building basically the future of entertainment and a whole bunch of new kinds of learning methods to get kids excited about science and engineering. As Sabrina mentioned, we've engulfed people in fireballs, we've bungee jumped cars, we've done a whole bunch of really crazy whimsical stuff. We just had Kimball Musk, Elon Musk's brother, in our Fireball dunk tank just a couple weeks ago. So I'm happy to say he lived through it. Okay, so the who, what, when, why, and how of what the world needs. So I think a pretty obvious one we'll start with is who. Well, so who are we talking about? You guys, right? That's who we're talking about, you guys. And this is a really important time, right? You guys are at this incredible inflection point in your lives. Very rarely do you get a moment to sort of pick your head up, look around, and decide, what should I do with my life? Where should I go? And as you make commitments to mortgages and lifestyles and whatnot, that gets harder and harder to do. But right now, you have this incredible opportunity to go in any direction. And there's all sorts of different theories on what makes for happiness. Daniel Pink would say autonomy, mastery, and purpose. If you can get those 3 things aligned, then that would lead to happiness. I really like to subscribe to a Japanese philosophy called Ikigai, and this is 4 parts. It says, what do you love? What does the world need? What can you be paid for? And what are you good at? And that's really important, because a lot of people just say, do what you love. And that's sort of not complete, because we do actually have to eat and be clothed and do all sorts of other important things. And so you really sort of need that intersection. What does the world need? What do you love? What are you good at? And what can you be paid for? So, all right, the what. This is a really important one. I judge a lot of startup competitions, and oftentimes There'll be some concept that's like candy delivery. And I'm like, really? Is that what we need? We need like a candy delivery service? No, that's not a good problem. That's not a problem worth any of your time. There are problems that are worth your time, and there are problems that are not worth your time. And one of the things that's really awesome is there are a bunch of people, really smart people, who've gone about listing all of the hard problems facing humanity. And there's actually a really awesome set of canonical lists. The National Academy of Engineers has a grand challenges. The UN has their sustainability development goals. Many of the top venture capitalists in the world maintain lists of the things they would love to invest in. They have billions of dollars of money that they would love to invest in problems they've identified. They just need smart people to bring them those ideas. Y Combinator, Andreessen Horowitz, the list goes on. If you want to see me afterwards, I've got them all written down. Okay. Who, what, where, when? When should we start on this stuff? Well, how about today? That's a pretty good day, right? I mean, I feel like this is an incredible day, and it's a particularly important time right now, not just in this room, but for all of humanity as we know it. The US Department of Labor has a statistic that says 65% of school children will be employed in jobs that don't exist yet. Now that's nuts. Right? You know, I mean, Uber driver did not exist 5 years ago. And I look at the biometrics that I have on my body when I go to see the doctor, and he can know my blood pressure in 10 different intervals since I last saw him. There's so much new tech that we don't actually know what some of these new roles are going to be. But the other side of that stat is there are the opportunity to create those jobs is in your hands. The opportunity to create those new jobs is in your hands. So I have a favorite quote by Madeleine L'Engle, the author Madeleine L'Engle. And she says, inspiration usually comes during work, not before it. And that's really powerful because it doesn't mean that you just have to like sit on the couch and like wait for the light bulb moment. You actively get involved in anything, in something, and from that comes the inspiration. You realize, wow, so many people have been doing this like this. This is terrible. We got to do this there's a much better way to do this. And that was what happened for my co-founder and I. We were just screwing around, and all of a sudden, it turned into something really real. And the other thing that's super special about today is it's easier than ever. The tech has never been easier to use. The tools that we have at our disposal have never been more powerful. And so with minimal training, you can get to the point where you can create really incredible stuff. And as one example, I study computer science, and the introduction for a new language in computer science is how do you print the words "hello world"? And in the 1980s, that was like really punishing and terrible. I mean, you really had to like really go through a blender in your brain to get it done. And every 10 years, it got easier and easier and easier. And you know what? Today, you can do it in pictures on your iPad. I mean, it is incredible. CAD rendering is the same boat. Okay, so where? That's also really awesome. You could do it anywhere. This world, hyper-connected. I encourage you all to travel as much as you can, take in as much life experience as you can. And a why. So who, what, where, when, why. There are 3 stages of human development. You start as a dependent, right? Humans, mammals are dependent on our parents for protection and nurturing in the very beginning. Hopefully, not everybody, but hopefully you get to this next stage of independence, right? You can provide for yourself, you can do your own thing, and hopefully, not everybody, gets to this final stage of interdependence. You realize, wow, not only can I do stuff for myself, but in fact, we're all in this together. We gotta all pull the cart in order to be able to create the world that we wanna live in. There's an African proverb that says, if you wanna go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, right? I just love that. That really carries it. And so many societies have a phrase for this. If you want to, you are who you walk with. Surround yourself with people you respect and admire. Okay, the most important one, how? How are we going to go about it? All right, so we know it's you guys, we know the time is now, we know we can do it anywhere, and we know we should be working on some hard problem. Okay, good. So how are we going to do it? Well, turns out there's 3 things for success: grit, knowledge, creativity. You guys spent a wonderful time at Fremont aggregating a ton of knowledge. Grit, and you've already got that, right? You're here. You stood fast, and you've arrived at graduation. And creativity. This is one that I feel like you can just always be cultivating. You can always be working on. So I have another favorite quote. This is probably my favorite quote of all time, and it's called It's by Robert Heinlein, and it ends, "Specialization is for insects." Now, that's pretty crazy, right? Specialization is for insects, huh? Well, it's the beginning of this quote that's super awesome. It goes like this. A human being should be able to change a diaper, plan an invasion, butcher a hog, con a ship, design a building, write a sonnet, balance accounts, build a wall, set a bone, comfort the dying, take orders, give orders, cooperate, act alone, program a computer, pitch manure, cook a tasty meal, fight efficiently, die gallantly. Specialization is for insects. Yeah, that's awesome, right? We all gotta be able to do this. Not that you just focus on one thing. Work on work on lots of things. Be able to have variety. We always look when we're hiring for our company, it's not just one role. If we know that someone also unicycles on the weekend and is an incredible harmonica player, like that demonstrate passion in anything, and you'll be able to bring passion to everything. Okay, we get through this quickly here. The last few moments. How do we do extra work to try to cultivate creativity in our company. And there's a few things that we do that I feel like work really well. One of my favorites is random input, right? Expose yourself to as much new stuff as possible. Because when you go to have a creative moment, you're only ever going to be drawing on your own life experience. And that life experience could be waking up, going to work, coming home, waking up, going to work, coming home, or drawing on lots of different experiences that you get from all different times in life. So one of the ones that I love is conference crashing. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but I urge you to go to conferences that are completely outside your domain. So I've been to like the packaging convention and the auto salvage convention and the food network convention, all sorts of weird stuff. And you would realize that like even though you might have some completely different industry, an innovation in that industry might be able to be appropriate for something that you're working on in your life. I have a writer friend who every time he's got writer's block, he just gets on the bus. He doesn't know where he's going, he doesn't know where it's gonna drop him, but he tries to imagine the story of everybody getting on and off the bus, and then he's got the added benefit of trying to figure out how to get home once they take him somewhere random. So I just love that. I can't talk enough about taking notes. I've carried a folded piece of paper in my back pocket since I was 13. And your brain is fallible. I was at a conference with a neuroscientist who was passing out notebooks to everybody. And he's like, why? Because your brain is fallible, right? We have a better forgettery than we have a memory. So, the more that you hear something you don't know, you hear something that you're not sure about, write it down. And when you've got some time later, look it up. And it will totally change your life. Okay, so we've got a lot of random input. We've written all this stuff down. Take some time to reflect, do nothing, just stare at a wall, think, let your brain think. We're super creative machines. Let that time happen. Okay, and back to the sort of you are who you walk with. Expose yourself to interesting people. Cultivate a cross-disciplinary environment. Get lots of different people with different skill sets around you. You will learn so much from different kinds of folks. And the last one, which is maybe my favorite and the most important, is mentorship. It's incredible. Obviously, mentoring a kid is great for the kid, but it's really incredible for you too. And you all have something awesome to teach. And you'll get wonderful oxytocin from being a mentor. Kids are super creative and come up with all sorts of awesome stuff. And you know what's even more nuts? You get oxytocin from watching somebody else mentor. You could just be in the room and it's valuable. So I just can't sing the praises of that enough. So in closing up here, I hope it's abundantly clear that what the world really needs is you guys. Desperately needs you guys. So I'm so excited to be here for today on this special moment, and hope that you go off and do incredible things with all of the gifts that you have. Thanks.